Hello everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Command Online. Today we're going to be doing Come and Grow, and we haven't got Chris with us today, but we've got Richard, and Richard is going to tell us exactly what we need to be doing. But we've got some helpers too across the town. I wonder if Caitlin's there. Are you there, Caitlin?
Hello.
Here she is. Hello, Caitlin. Are you okay?
Not too bad, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Are you all organised for this?
Yeah.
Excellent. And then across the town as well, a bit further away than you are, we've got Poppy and Daisy. Are they there?
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
And we've got Amy and Margaret. I can't see Amy. Is she there? Oh, there she is. Hi. Hi. Well, look, I'm going to get out of the way and let Richard get on with this. So I'm going to do it as well, but over in the corner. So over to you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. How are we today? So it's Caitlin's on half term already, but Poppy and Daisy, you've been to school today?
Yes. We've got tomorrow at school and then we're off.
Brilliant. It's almost like being retired, isn't it? Fabulous. Okay, today what we're going to do is we're going to be potting up some bulbs so that we get a little bit of spring come early for us, you know, a little bit of spring life come up just after Christmas. It'll probably be when we get some nice little spring flowers coming up in these pots that we're going to pot up, and that'll remind us of the the passing of winter, and spring will be upon us very soon. So we're going to pot up two different sorts of bulbs, and we're going to use recycled containers, food containers, to do it. We're going to decorate the containers because we don't want to advertise what was in them before. And we're going to make some labels and pretty them up as well so that we've got something nice. And it could be a gift that you want to give to your mums or to grandparents or a favorite auntie or something like that. But when we've done it, then you'll have to then be patient and put them away somewhere so that the bulbs will grow. And then eventually, in a couple of months' time, as I say, you'll start to see the shoots and then the flowers, and we'll have something to enjoy in the dark days of the end of the winter. So we've got newspaper on our work surface here because I'm doing this in the kitchen, and we are going to be using some compost, potting compost. Could also be soil out of the garden if you haven't got any potting compost. But it is a little bit messy and potentially dirty, especially when I do it. I tend to spill these sorts of things all over the place, and I get into a lot of trouble for that. So on the website, linked from our Command Facebook page, there is a little worksheet, and on that it tells you all of the things that you're going to need to do this project, and it also includes some pictures that you can colour in to use to decorate the boxes and to make a label for the plants so that you know exactly what it is that you planted when they come through. But basically, what we're going to be using is 2 empty food containers, nice and clean, and we are going to use some potting compost, which I've got mine in a bucket, but you know, however it comes to you. The girls have got theirs in little bags we brought round to them yesterday. We're going to use some different sorts of paper to decorate the 2 different boxes. So we've got one deep circular box, and we're going to use brown paper to cover that one. And then we've got a rectangular box. This one's a nice cream box, but it can be anything of that sort. A little bit shallower. I'm going to use some white paper to cover that. I mean, you'll need some crayons and some or felt tips or whatever to colour in the pictures. And we'll need some sellotape or you know, Scotch tape, whatever, sticky tape, in order to stick the paper onto the boxes. Other than that, there's only one other thing that you need, and that's something to make a label with, whether it's, I got a stick out of the garden. Can you see that? Hold that up like that. But you can use a pencil, you can use the barrel of an old ballpoint pen. If you've got lolly sticks, you can use a lolly stick. This is the girls have got lolly sticks. So we've got all sorts of different things, but something to make a little sign to put in the box to show what it is that's going to be growing there. Okay, everything all right?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, you will need some bulbs as well. We're going to be using 2 different sorts of bulbs for our 2 different containers. And the bulbs that we're using have to be thinking about the size of the containers. They're quite small, so we have to think about small bulbs, things that will not grow too big. So we've got, for our deep pot, we've got some little narcissus. They're like little miniature daffodils. I've got 2 different sorts. One's called tete-a-tete, that's this bright yellow one, and the other one is called minnow, and that's the sort of a pale yellow one. The girls have got their bulbs are all mixed up, so you won't know which ones are which until they come up. Girls, they'll just come up as a mixture of pale and golden. And then the rectangular box, I'm using some still smaller bulbs, and these are called rape hyacinths, and these are a blue flower, and they look like that. Okay, so that's what we've got to plant. So the first thing we've got to do, though, is prepare our containers. These are food containers, as I said, and there's no holes in them, so they're not like plant pots with holes in. We don't want a hole in these. It's okay for bulbs that you don't actually have drainage holes, which you would normally have in plant pots. So to start this off, what we've got to do is get our brown paper, and we've just got this is a roll of brown paper that we've taken about, I don't know, 15 centimeters length of. It's enough to cover the depth of the pot. And what we've got to do is we've got to lay that down on the surface of, on our work surface, and with a pencil and our pot, we start at one end of the paper, and we put the pencil, I don't really see this, let me kind of move, there we are. We put the pencil in line with the bottom of the, in line with the top of the pot, away from us, and we roll the pot along the paper with the pencil and follow it with the pencil to make a sort of a line to where to cut the paper so that it is enough to cover the pot. And the reason we do that is because the pot is tapered. You see it's bigger at the top than it is at the bottom. And because of that, if you just try to wrap paper around it with a straight edge, then it won't actually go all the way around neatly, and you'll end up with sort of crinkles at the bottom. So doing it this way, we create a sort of a curved shape, which is what the paper needs to be in order to fit around the top of the pot. So when you've drawn the line, what we then do is cut along the line. We don't have to worry about how long a piece we're going to be, because it's all right for it to overlap. It's all right for it, once we wrap it round, it's all right for it to overlap. If it's too big, too much, gosh, I'm making a lot of noise for the microphone. If it's too much, we can always trim it off, but overlapping a paper is better than not having enough.
This very rolled up paper, it's quite difficult to cut, isn't it?
Yes,
Because it wants to keep rolling itself up.
It is. How are the girls managing with that? Because it's paper was on a roll when we got it, so the roll makes it curly. How are you doing, Caitlin? You're on camera.
Not too bad, thanks.
Okay, Poppy and Daisy, you doing all right? Thumbs
Yeah.
up, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you've got it cut with that curvy edge, just wrap it around the pot. And if you've got it more or less right, you know, we're not making a sort of crown jewels thing here, so we don't have to be absolutely perfect. But if you've got it roughly right, then the brown paper will go around it in a taper, and it will be fitting nicely around the edge. So wrap it round the tub and overlap it as much as it needs to be, so that it all the way around, and then using a little bit of sellotape, just stick it down on the long edge. Okay.
It's almost a four-handed job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a four-handed job, as Becky said. But
That's good.
everybody's got helpers.
So we've got a piece of sellotape down there to hold it.
And then, yes. The next thing we're going to do once we've got that done is you see that the paper is longer than the pot. The pot ends here. So what we've got to do is trim the excess off. So where we have the overlap line, the overlap join, we can just stick the scissors in and just follow the edge of the pot as best you can and just trim off the surplus. Okay. So we're trimming off the surplus now, goes off the bottom. Okay. Just cutting round all the way around until all of the brown paper that's overhanging the bottom has been removed. There we are. That's not too bad. Okay, everybody all right? Got it? Yeah. Caitlin's done it. Poppy and Daisy. I might having a little hand in here, I think. Well done, Poppy. I see you've got the thumbs up. Now, the other thing we've got to do now, once we've done that, is without sellotape, we need to put a couple of pieces of sellotape between the bottom of the pot and the bottom of the paper, just to stop the paper from slipping off the pot. So one each side, you know, about opposite each other. Okay. So that just sticks the paper on the pot. And that's not bad, is it? That's kind of neat and tidy. Caitlin, yours looks great. And I can see Daisy's in the foreground and Poppy's. How are you getting on? Yeah. That's it. And then just stick it down and then that'll stop it falling off. Okay. Right. So then we've got the shallow long box to do. And I don't know what sort of box you'll have. I think you've got ice cream box. So Caitlin, you've got a clear plastic box. That's the sort of thing that grapes come in. Anything like that will do. And you girls have got ice cream boxes, I think, haven't you? Is that right? Yeah, I think that's an ice cream box, isn't it? Yeah. I think, Daisy, you're maybe muted. I can't hear you.
Chocolate ice cream.
Chocolate ice cream, okay. And what Poppy got?
Strawberry ice cream.
Oh, strawberry ice cream. Well, I've got clotted cream ice cream. So that makes me sound posh, doesn't it? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a sheet of white paper, just ordinary A4 white paper, and we are going to now put that onto our box. I can't remember what we can do here.
We put it underneath the basket like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we put one edge about with the box about lined up in the middle on the box, all right, like that. Okay, under the, if there's a lip, under the lip of the box. Okay, and then we bring the paper around. We bring the paper around to the one side and just put some sellotape on it just to hold it there. Right. Okay. So what I've done is I've put the white paper on one side and then brought it round. All right. Or was it?
Yeah, that's right.
Don't we do the underneath?
No,
Let's come off.
you take it underneath and fold it in at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Put more tape.
Okay, I didn't catch the box right. Okay. What are we doing? We've got the paper. It should be under one long edge and one short edge has got some tape on it just to stick it down. And then we bring the other short edge round to the other side and we stick that down. Thank you. Okay, so what we've now done is we've covered the paper like that. See it? Using the long edge of the paper.
That's it.
I think you've got it right, Caitlin. Yeah. And obviously it's going to be different according to the shape and size of the box. Caitlin, yours is a little bit deeper than mine, so it's going to be a little bit different. How are we doing, girls? Poppy and Daisy? Is it working all right? Thumbs up? Okay.
Did you have another bit of sellotape?
You see, I've got square ends and yours is rounded ends, aren't they? So they're all going to be different shapes. And it just depends what people have got to hand. You see, because there'll be people watching this video later who will have to get all of this stuff for themselves. And it depends what they've got that's clean and available and ready in the recycling box. So any kind of roughly this shape will do. Right, the next thing we've got to do, once you're there, is we take the bit that's hanging down and we're going to take it up around the back so that it goes all the way up to the top. And you'll see in some cases that mean we've got more paper than we've got box. You see I've got a little bit left over. Caitlin, you may not even have enough to go all the way up to the top. I don't know, because it depends on the depth of your box. But if you just wrap the paper all the way underneath, and then if you've got any leftover paper, you know, it's the paper that's sticking out over the top of the box, just fold it back on itself. Just fold it back like this. Okay. So that it fits neatly under the rim on the other side. So we've got it neatly there and taped, and then we've brought it round to the other side and we've brought it up to here, and any surplus we've folded back. How's your paper look, Caitlin? Your deep box. Let's have a look at yours.
My piece of paper is not big enough, so I'm going on to another one.
Okay, you're putting another piece of paper on.
Yeah.
That's resourceful. So if you've got too much, you need to fold it over. If you've not got enough, then an extra bit of paper won't do any harm either. That will just, all we want to do is cover it. Okay.
It's a bit
Have you got some surplus on your boxes, Poppy and Daisy? Is it a bit left over?
Oh,
That's brilliant. Okay, you're ahead of me. So what I'm
I haven't done mine.
sorry. So what we're going to do now is my leftover surplus bit of paper, I'm going to fold it under so it's a little bit neater. Fold it behind instead of folding it on the outside. But then all we do is we take the paper round on that side. Oh, it's like wrapping a parcel. It's just like wrapping a parcel. I'm rubbish at wrapping parcels. I'm no good at wrapping Christmas presents, and I'm certainly not very good at sending anything through the post. So we've got an expert doing this today in me. There we go. Thank you. You see, it's a four-handed job. Even I've got to have Grandma helping me, you see. I'll get into trouble for that after we stop filming.
By the way, I can't cover my box because it's enormous and the paper just isn't big enough. So mine's going to stay clear.
Right. Have you all more or less got a box that's covered in paper? Yeah, I think so. David, can we cycle through the girls just to see what they've got? Yeah, that's great. That's great, Daisy. Poppies as well.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. And Caitlin, look at Caitlin's. Yeah, great. Brilliant. All right. So we've done that. That is the hardest bit. And that's the bit that takes the longest amount of time out of this whole job. So now we've got two nicely plain covered tubs. And we're going to now plant them. Okay. So what we now need to do is the girls have got bags of compost. I suggest you just snip the knot. Take care that it doesn't all just go bleh all over the place, but just snip the knot and try and hold it all together, because what you can do then is you can control how you pour the compost into each pot. And we want to just put about, I don't know, maybe just 2.5 centimeters, 3 centimeters of compost in the bottom of the pot, because we're going to put a little bit in the bottom, then we're going to put the bulbs on, and then we're going to top it up with all the rest of the compost. Okay, so just a little bit of compost on the bottom of your pots, just about, in old money, an inch, perhaps a little bit more, but not very much more because they're not very deep. Oops. Thought we got a power cut for a minute. Just a little bit. Cover the bottoms of the pots. And enough. Imagine the bulbs are going to sit in this. So this is like we're making them their bed. This is the mattress.
Are we putting it in both pots?
We're going to do it in both pots, just while we've got the compost in our hands. And we're going to end up with like that, something like that. That one's not so good because it's dark, but see if I can get the light to shine in it. Yeah, Caitlin, you're right. And the Gidlow girls, how are we doing? Yes? Yeah. Oh, you're doing it with your hands.
Ooh.
Brilliant. Okay. Right. Let's find the biggest bulbs. These are the Narcissus bulbs, the small, they're miniature daffodils. It's the big bulbs. There's a bag of those for each of the girls, but you can use any of these sort of small bulbs. Anyone that's watching this after the broadcast or watching this and you're thinking you might like to try this at home, we bought these bulbs from these were from Tesco's. You get 2 boxes for £5, and in each box there's 10 daffodils. So you get 20 daffodils for £5 of these. The other ones that we're going to grow, the grape hyacinths, I picked these up this week in Homebase. All of the supermarkets have got these little bulbs at the moment. All of the garden centres and DIY type shops. Anytime from September to November, you'll be able to find these. So Becky's already planted her bulbs. I'm going to suggest that's what you now need to do. The pointy end needs to be upmost. So if you see I'll hold that towards the camera. The pointy end of the bulb needs to go uppermost. Okay, like that. The pointy end, because that's where the green shoot is going to come out of, and eventually the flower. And the bottom bit, you can see it's got actually a lot of them there, like dried up bits of roots on the bottom of them. And so obviously the roots go at the bottom, and the pointy end where the shoot is going to go at the top. So in your round tubs, put in all of your daffodil bulbs, the bigger bulbs. I'll hold that one back because I want to show you this. You might not get 8 in there. The girls have all got 8, but it all depends on the size of the container. Okay. And when you've done that, and I've got mine like Becky showed you hers just now. I've put mine in like that. Okay. And then when you've done that one, before we then start handling the compost again, we'll do the grape hyacinths in the long box. So again, we just cut the bag off. And again, it's the same thing. These might not be so obviously, oh, I think they are. There's a flat bottom bit that's got like rooty, hairy bits all dry, and there's a pointy top to them. So see the point at the top and the hairy bit at the bottom. That's the roots starting to form. Okay, and just plant them nice and evenly. Sort of, you won't be able to spread them out much, but you probably perhaps get 2 rows of 4 or something like that. What's interesting about these is that in our command projects in the past, we have grown some things like herbs, and we've grown them from seeds. What we're growing here is we're growing flowers that grow from bulbs, and there's a difference. With the seeds, the flowers, what am I looking at? Oh yeah, well done, Caitlin. Well done. With most plants, they grow their next year's crop from seeds. The plants produce flowers, and in the flowers get pollinated, and then when the flowers die away, it leaves behind a little bulb that's full of seeds, and then the seeds break away and scatter onto the soil, and that's how the next year's flowers grow. With bulbs, it's different. Bulbs, it so happens in my box, I've got one that looks a little bit strange. It looks like it's got, can you see that? It's got baby bulbs attached to it. And that's how bulbs propagate, or how they grow. They make, during the year, they make little new baby bulbs that grow off the bottoms of the one that's growing in the ground, so that by the time next year comes around, these little ones will have grown to be bigger again. And then the following year after that, those bulbs will grow and be flowers the same as these will be flowers this year. There's a difference between flower seeds and flower bulbs. There's just certain plants are like that, and certain plants are from seeds. Okay, are we all ready? All set? Thumbs up? Okay, so what we now need to do is put some more compost in these, and really put compost in until the pots are more or less full. I hope the girls have got enough for that. I mean, basically share the compost out until the boxes have each got soil well covering the bulbs, so as near to the top as you've got compost to cover them with. Okay. And we just top them up. There we go.
Does it matter how much soil you have on top of them?
Well, I don't know whether you heard Becky said, does it matter how much soil you have on top of them? If you were planting these in the garden, they would normally like to be about, well, let's read the box. The daffodils, it says you should plant them 15 centimeters below the surface. That's 6 whole inches in old money. And the grape hyacinths a little bit less. These say plant 8 centimeters deep, which is roughly 3 inches. So you can put as much soil on the top as you like, basically, when you do them in a pot, because otherwise they'll grow and they'll push themselves out of the soil. With the roots will push down as they're growing, and it will push the bulbs up and lift them. So we need to allow for the fact that in containers, And you'll see this if you go into a supermarket, often like Sainsbury's or Morrison's or wherever. You see it in the flower section, they will have pots of bulbs. And they often have a lot more bulbs crammed in than you should put, you know, close together in a garden. Because in a container, what you're trying to do is just get a quick, short burst of flowering, and they're happy with that. In a garden, they would grow much more strongly and grow bigger and so on. But in a container, you don't need them to grow that huge. So Caitlin's got some spare compost. Everybody else all right? You two girls all right? Yes, I can see you're doing all right. And that's nicely packed down. Make sure they're good and firm. And when we then take these and put them somewhere to grow, we say grow nicely little flowers, because that's what we always do. But then we give them a little bit of water, not too much because there are no drainage holes. We'll give them a little bit of water, and then we'll put them somewhere cool and dark until they start to shoot. But that's getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. Let's just make sure we've all got ourselves to that place, all right, of potting up. So then the next thing to do, and we're not going to do this on camera because it's awfully, I nearly said boring, but you know, it's not very engaging if we sit and just watch each other colouring pictures. So the next stage will be for you after the film finishes is to fill in the colour in the pictures. And it's much easier to colour them before you cut them out than if you cut them out and then have to colour these tiny little pieces of paper. So you'll colour in the pictures, and then these daffodil ones at the top, here's one I prepared earlier. I don't know whether the colours will show on here because I used a crayon. Oh, yes, they do. The daffodil ones are going to be stuck onto the round pot, and you can stick them on the outside of the pot like that. Becky's already done hers, and you see?
There they are.
There they are. So you colour the pictures and then use some sellotape, or you could use some, if you've got a Pritt stick or something like that, or school glue, you can stick them onto the brown paper when you've coloured them. Obviously, you can't colour them after you've stuck them onto the paper. I think that's common sense, isn't it? The blue ones, the grape hyacinths, have you prepared your grape hyacinths? What I'm suggesting you do with those is you put them onto a stick, a lolly stick, or a stick out of the garden, or an old biro with which is dried up, and take the righty bit out and you're left with the barrel. Or as Becky's got here, she's got like a lolly stick, one of those.
And I put lots of Pritt stick on one of the pictures, stuck the lolly stick on it, and then put the other picture over the top to hide up the lolly stick. And
then what you do is stick the lolly stick into the soil, and as long as you don't, if you keep it right at the edge, then you won't stick it into one of the bulbs. So that's your label for your grape hyacinths. Grape hyacinths are blue. I remind you, when you're colouring, they're going to be, try not to get the light on it. There we are. That's not a bad view. So they're going to be blue with green leaves. Okay? Any blue you like, really. And the daffodils are going to be a creamy yellow or a deep yellow, whatever you want to do. Okay? So you'll colour those, and then you'll cut them out, and you'll decorate your boxes. And once you've done that, give your plants a little bit of a drink. Just a little splish splash of water. I'm going to demonstrate just a little bit of water, not too much because we don't want the thing to go all soggy.
it's about 2 egg cupfuls.
Right, about 2 egg cupfuls, Becky says, if you have egg cups and know what they're like. But just a little bit like that. Just moisten the soil, and then just don't keep them in the warm in the house. Just put them, they can even be outside, although if they're outside, it'll spoil the paper.
I think the
So
shed
if
is
there's a
good
shed,
choice.
or you've got a garage, or just a porch, even just somewhere where they can be not affected by the weather, but they grow in the garden, so they're not worried about frosts and things like that. They do grow in the garden perfectly naturally, but you don't want to spoil the containers and spoil your decorations that you've made for them. But essentially, once you've decorated them, put them somewhere safe and cool, they don't have to be dark particularly, but they certainly don't need to be in bright sunshine. And then keep an eye on them. If they look as though they're getting a bit dry, just put a little bit more water on them.
But don't drown them though.
But absolutely don't drown them. It's just a little bit, little and often is better than a load and flooding them out, because they don't drain. Because and then you'll start to see little green shoots come, and then eventually you'll see a little bud and a flower will suddenly pop up, and there you'll have some lovely pictures of spring, probably before spring arrives.
Thank you very much. That's brilliant. That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing these. And I think we might give some of these to Chris when he gets back as a surprise, so he can see what we've been doing. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Good. So our next time we get together is going to be in November, and it's the 19th of November, and it's a craft, come and craft. And we're going to make something to hang on the Christmas tree, because we're beginning to think about Christmas. So is that exciting? Yes.
My birthday.
It's Daisy's birthday.
What, the 19th of November?
Again.
Well, we met last year when it was your birthday, didn't we?
Well, how
Yeah.
about that? That's brilliant.
Well, we won't be able to share birthday cake this time, will we? Like we did
Delete
last.
it for you.
Okay, that's fine. Well, thank you so much. Well done, everybody. And when they start to grow, hopefully we'll get a photograph to put onto the Facebook page, and we'll see how your plants are growing. All right? Well done, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Poppy. Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you, Margaret.
Bye.
Thanks, grown-ups. Yeah. Well, what do you think, Becky? Did that go all right?
Yes, I think that was fine.
Oh, good. Okay, well, until the next time then. See you. Bye.